It started like any other post-game presser. A young quarterback, calm after a solid preseason outing, answering harmless questions. But one sentence from Dillon Gabriel would rewrite the entire narrative of the Cleveland Browns. When he said, "There are entertainers and there are competitors," he probably thought he was separating focus from flash. What he didn't realize was that those 6 words would be interpreted as a direct shot at Shedeur Sanders, the most polarizing backup quarterback in football. Within minutes, the clip hit social media. By the time Gabriel reached the locker room, ESPN, Bleacher Report, and every major sports account had already posted it. The headline read, "Browns rookie throws shade at Shedeur Sanders," and that was all it took. The internet doesn't wait for context. It creates its own. Stephen A. Smith wasted no time. On live television, his voice thundered through the studio. "You don't get to talk about competitors when Shedeur Sanders is in the same building." The take was fiery, emotional, and exactly what the moment needed to explode. Suddenly, Gabriel wasn't just a quarterback. He was a villain in a storyline much bigger than football. Inside the Browns facility, phones buzzed non-stop. Reporters flooded practice, asking if there was tension between the two quarterbacks. Even teammates started whispering, not about who was better, but about who belonged. Because when you share a locker room with a Sanders, everything changes. The cameras, the expectations, the noise, it all multiplies. For Gabriel, the quote was a statement about identity. For Shedeur, it became a question about respect. And when those two collide in a city like Cleveland, starved for stability but addicted to drama, sparks turn into wildfires fast. By morning, one truth was clear. This wasn't a competition anymore. It was a collision course. And from that moment, every throw, every soundbite, every glance from either quarterback would be measured, magnified, and dissected. Because Cleveland had just found its next great controversy. By sunrise, the story had escaped Cleveland and gone global. SportsCenter ran the clip on repeat. Debate shows dedicated entire segments to it. Podcasts broke it down like a Zapruder film. Frame by frame, every facial expression, every pause, every syllable of Dillon Gabriel's now infamous quote. What started as a passing comment had become a national headline. Stephen A. Smith was still on fire, calling Gabriel's statement arrogant, tone-deaf, and reckless. Skip Bayless jumped in next, saying, "You don't poke the son of Deion Sanders, not when his name carries more weight than your entire resume." That was the narrative now. The rookie wasn't confident. He was disrespectful. And Shedeur? He didn't have to say a word. The silence spoke for him. Fans flooded social media like it was game day. Hashtags like Team Shedeur and Gabriel Gate trended side by side. Memes popped up everywhere, one showing Gabriel labeled competitor, fumbling a football, while Shedeur, labeled entertainer, smiled behind sunglasses. The internet had chosen its sides, and Cleveland's quarterback room suddenly looked like a political campaign. But the real story wasn't what the media said. It was how the Browns responded. Inside the facility, the tension was undeniable. Players started to take notice. Some teammates sided with Gabriel, saying he was just focused on football. Others quietly admitted that Shedeur brought something different, a spark, an energy, a magnetism that couldn't be coached. Head coach Kevin Stefanski tried to shut it down fast. "We're focused on football, not headlines," he told reporters. But his calm tone did little to cool the fire. In the locker room, it was already too late. Cameras followed Shedeur's every move, every smirk. Every shrug became a headline. And in that chaos, something subtle began to shift. Gabriel was playing quarterback, but Shedeur was becoming the story. The media had drawn their battle lines. And no matter what the Browns said publicly, this wasn't just about who would start under center. It was about who the world wanted to see leading the team. By midweek, The storm had settled outside the building, but inside it, pressure was reaching a breaking point. The Browns' locker room, once quiet and professional, had split into two invisible camps. On one side were the veterans, men who respected structure, loyalty, and calm leadership. They liked Dillon Gabriel. He was steady, polite, coachable, the kind of rookie who listened more than he talked. To them, that meant reliability, something rare in a league addicted to ego. But the younger players, they gravitated toward Shedeur Sanders. They saw him as more than a quarterback. He was an icon in waiting. The swagger, the aura, the confidence, it wasn't arrogance to them, it was energy. They'd seen the clips from Colorado, the comebacks, the crowd chanting his name. They knew what that kind of presence could do to a team. And more than anything, they wanted to feel that spark again. Practices became tense. Quarterback drills, once routine, turned into silent competitions. Every throw from Gabriel was watched, measured, compared to what people imagined Shedeur would have done. Teammates whispered after reps. Reporters lingered longer near the sideline, waiting for any gesture, a head shake, a glance, a quote. The Browns' training field wasn't just turf anymore. It was a stage. Then came the moment that sealed the tension. During a red zone drill, Gabriel overthrew a pass, harmless in most circumstances, but cameras caught Shedeur. Helmet off, standing near midfield. He didn't roll his eyes. He didn't sigh. He just stood there, stoic, calm, watching. And within minutes, that still frame was viral. Shedeur's reaction says it all. One headline read, "Inside the locker room, the whispers grew louder. He's ready. He's waiting. What's the coach doing?" Even some assistant coaches started questioning the plan privately. Stefanski's loyalty to Gabriel looked like strategy on paper, but stubbornness in real time. The team's heartbeat was splitting in two. Cleveland wasn't just juggling quarterbacks anymore. It was juggling identities, safe or explosive, order or electricity. And no matter which side you stood on, everyone knew one truth. The Browns could only hold this tension for so long before something or someone broke. The flight to London was quiet. Too quiet. Players scrolled through social media, trying to ignore the noise, but it was impossible. Every sports outlet, from ESPN to Sky Sports, had turned the Browns' quarterback drama into an international storyline. Gabriel versus Sanders. The Browns' silent war heads overseas, one headline read. Even the NFL's own preview hyped the game as a defining moment for Cleveland's future. Kevin Stefanski, known for his calm, methodical approach, tried to steady the ship. He told reporters, "Dillon's our guy. We trust him to execute." But fans didn't buy it. The Browns were 2-2, the offense sluggish, and Shedeur's name was echoing through comment sections like a battle cry. By the time the team stepped off the plane at Heathrow, chants of "We want Shedeur" were already trending across Europe. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium glowed under the bright London lights. It wasn't just another regular season game. It felt like an international audition. Gabriel jogged onto the field in warm-ups, earbuds in, face stoic. Across the sideline, Shedeur stretched silently, expression unreadable. Cameras didn't care who was starting. They followed him. From kickoff, it was clear. The offense lacked rhythm. Short passes, safe reads, no spark. Every incomplete throw drew groans, not from fans of the opposing team, but from Cleveland's own. By halftime, the score sat at 14-7 Vikings, and the murmurs began. "Put him in! Give the kid a drive! What's Stefanski waiting for?" Then came the breaking point. Fourth quarter, down 21-10, third and long. Gabriel rolled right, threw across his body, interception. The stadium erupted, but not in cheers. From the upper decks, chants broke out, echoing across the field. "We want Shedeur! We want Shedeur!" It wasn't just noise anymore. It was a message. From fans, from the world, maybe even from the football gods themselves. Yet Stefanski stood firm, headset on, jaw clenched, refusing to make the switch. When the clock hit 0, Cleveland had lost again. But this time it wasn't just a loss. It was a statement. And as the team walked off the field, one thing became clear. The Browns didn't just lose in London. They lost control of their own narrative. By the time the Browns charter jet touched down back in Cleveland, the internet had already set the franchise on fire. Clips from the London broadcast flooded every feed. Shedeur standing on the sideline, helmet on, jaw tight, watching another stalled drive. Memes labeled him the QB in waiting. Commentators called it the moment the Browns broke in public. The backlash was instant and brutal. Cleveland fans, patient to a fault for decades, finally snapped. Hashtags like #FreeShedeur and #FireStefanski dominated Twitter. Local talk radio turned into a digital riot. "We didn't fly across an ocean to watch a backup hold a clipboard," one caller shouted, live on air. Even ESPN analysts, usually diplomatic about coaches, went for the jugular. Stephen A. Smith thundered, "This isn't coaching loyalty, it's malpractice." The world saw it. Sanders was ready. Stefanski wasn't. Inside team headquarters, chaos brewed quietly. Sources close to the front office said owner Jimmy Haslam was furious beyond measure. The London embarrassment wasn't just another loss. It was global humiliation. Reports leaked that Stefanski was summoned to a closed-door meeting within 24 hours of landing. No press, no smiles, just accountability. In the locker room, the mood was fractured. Veterans who defended Gabriel were suddenly silent. Younger players, especially the offensive unit, whispered openly now. One lineman told a reporter off the record, "Everybody knows who the better QB is. We just can't say it." The trust that once held the locker room together was gone, replaced by tension you could feel in the air. And through it all, Shedeur stayed silent. Again, no statements, no tweets, just a short Instagram story, a black screen with 3 words, "Patience has limits." It exploded instantly, racking up 500,000 shares before morning. The fans read it as rebellion. The front office read it as warning. But the league read it as destiny. Because when a player with Shedeur Sanders' name starts hinting at a storm, everyone listens. By midweek, Cleveland was a circus. Every press conference turned into a cross-examination. Every question sharper than the last. Is Shedeur getting reps with the ones? Did ownership demand a quarterback change? Kevin Stefanski's face stayed composed, but his voice carried strain. "We evaluate every position every week," he repeated. The same phrase on loop, like a man holding a dam with duct tape. Behind closed doors, the dam was already cracking. Assistant coaches had split into factions, some pushing for continuity with Gabriel, others begging for a spark. The analytics department quietly presented data showing Shedeur's scout team performance metrics. Faster reads, higher red zone efficiency, more mobility under pressure. ... It wasn't opinion anymore. It was math. Yet Stefanski refused to budge. Pride had replaced pragmatism. Then came the leak that detonated everything. A sideline mic from London caught Shedeur's frustrated voice saying just 3 words. "Let me cook." Simple, harmless, unless you're a backup quarterback with a fan base ready to riot. Within hours, it hit every sports outlet. Skip Bayless ran a 10-minute rant titled, "The Browns' best QB isn't playing." ESPN pushed a graphic comparing Gabriel's passer rating to Shedeur's practice stats. Even the NFL's official account liked a post that read, "Cleveland's next star is waiting." Inside the locker room, things boiled. Myles Garrett reportedly confronted Stefanski in private, demanding answers. Others backed him up. One source said the meeting felt like a mutiny without shouting. Stefanski stood his ground, but everyone sensed the shift. Leadership doesn't survive once players stop believing. By Thursday night, a stunning report dropped. The Browns were considering internal adjustments at quarterback. It wasn't official, but it didn't need to be. The city erupted again. Bars, podcasts, group chats, everyone knew what it meant. Shedeur Sanders might finally get his shot. When practice opened Friday, he jogged onto the field first. No announcement, no cameras allowed. Just quiet footsteps and a hum of whispers breaking into applause from teammates. For the first time all season, Cleveland felt something new. Not drama, not division, hope. Sunday arrived with the tension of a season finale. Dog pound packed, national media hovering, and every camera lens trained on one figure, Shedeur Sanders, finally stepping out from the sidelines. No announcement, no theatrics, just a rookie jogging toward destiny. The crowd erupted before he even threw a pass. It wasn't about expectation anymore. It was release. From the first snap, everything felt different. The offense, once tight and predictable, suddenly breathed. The line blocked harder. Receivers ran sharper routes. Even the crowd noise carried a different rhythm, louder, hopeful, electric. On his third play, Shedeur dropped back, rolled left, and fired a 22-yard strike across his body to Amari Cooper. The throw cut through the cold Cleveland air like a lightning bolt. The stadium shook. You could see it in the defense's eyes. 2. Belief. When Garrett got to the sideline, he slapped Shedeur's helmet and yelled, "That's how you do it, young blood." The entire energy of the team shifted. What had felt like a funeral for 2 weeks turned into a revival. Then came the drive that sealed everything. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, Browns down 24-20. Sanders stood in the huddle, calm but burning with focus. The camera zoomed in, sweat on his face, mouthpiece dangling. He pointed to each teammate, calling the play softly. Shotgun formation, snap. Pressure came off the edge, but Shedeur didn't flinch. He rolled right, planted his feet, and launched a dart toward the end zone. Touchdown. The stadium exploded. The rookie didn't dance. He didn't scream. He just raised one finger toward the sky. Not arrogance, just acknowledgement. The scoreboard read 27-24. The Browns had their first comeback win of the season. After the game, reporters flooded him with questions. He smiled slightly and said, "They doubted me. That's fine, but I've been ready." Simple words, powerful timing. That night, ESPN's ticker said it all. Shedeur Sanders, from backup to believer. And for the first time in a long time, Cleveland fans went to bed thinking not about controversy, but about the future.